Good evening, everyone. I will call the Financial Services meeting to order. First, I would like to begin by acknowledging that we are in Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. First, I need approval of tonight's agenda. Moved by Councillor Boyles, seconded by Councillor Turner. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Motion carried. Next, we have emergency resolutions. Is there any emergency resolutions this evening? Go ahead, Councillor Wadden.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just earlier today, I had sent out an email to everyone from an Airbnb owner who has some concerns with the levy that we're issuing. I've since learned that Cindy has sent information to Brian, so hopefully we're going to get her here to a meeting. That's what I was going to request for the emergency. So I just wanted people to know that I wasn't going to be requesting that tonight.
Okay.
So,
It'll be placed on the agenda later?
Yep.
Yes,
It's
okay,
another
perfect, okay. It's confirmed for the next property and finance. Yep, perfect. Any emergency resolutions? Seeing none? Oh, go ahead. I'm all mixed up here. Warden Parker.
I only wanted to make a comment, Madam Chair, on the request that Councillor Wadden had mentioned earlier. I think we have to be careful with emergency resolutions that we don't just add things on, and now that's been changed anyways, that's fine, but in the future, it really should be for things that have to be dealt with now, or if we don't, we're gonna miss the boat, you know, if a date's gonna go past or something, because there's always people sending something to you last minute, and unless they're really an emergency, like I say, in terms of missing out on something, I don't think we should be putting them under emergency resolutions, but this one's already been looked after, so that's fine.
Okay, thank you. Okay, moving along, any errors, omissions, corrections to the minutes of December 15th, 2025? Any errors, omissions, corrections to the minutes of December 15th, 2025? All right, seeing none, we'll consider those minutes approved. We have correspondence. We got a thank you from C.R. McDonald of Sunrise Trail 4-H for sponsorship of Building Blocks Judging Award. Okay, let's move on to reports not requiring a motion. First, we have the communications report for the month of December. Any questions, comments on that? Go ahead, Warden Parker.
I want to make a comment on the top 10, or the top one of the top 10, I guess, the waste sorting guide got by far the most views. And I know from sitting on the divert board for...
Just want to hold on 1 second, Robert. We're just having trouble with your microphone. We deleted it by mistake. Hold on. There you go. Sorry.
Okay. From that waste sorting guide got by far the most views, and from sitting on the divert board for the last few years, there's been a lot of effort go into this EPR for PPP, the new private collectors for waste, rather than our people picking it up, although we're still picking it up, but they're paying us to pick it up, the private company. So the companies are responsible, if they produce the waste, then they're responsible for paying for disposing of it. But that guide, I'm glad a lot of people are looking at that, because there are some changes. There's not significant changes, but there are some changes from what we're, when we ran it ourselves for so many years. And one of the big ones is styrofoam. People got used to putting styrofoam as a recyclable. It's still recyclable, but only if you take it to the depot, along with your bottles or whatever. It's not something you can put at the end of the driveway anymore. And there's others like that, and there's some very detailed ones. They also want you to put a lot of things, I think aerosol cans and a few others now have to go to the depots. They can't go to the landfill site. So I think that's important that everybody realize that, and it's good that Adam's got that out there and people are seeing it. But they're going to go pretty easy on people for a while, but eventually they won't. So it's a good system. It's going to save the municipalities a fair amount of money because we're not paying it anymore. But it's going to take just some watching by people to get used to it. They tried to make as little change as they wanted. They didn't want a bunch of upheaval, but it seems to be working pretty good so far. It started December 1st, and seems to be, not hearing a lot of complaints about it.
Okay. Well, thank you for the update and comments, Warden Parker. Okay, moving along to recreation. Any comments or questions on the recreation report for the month of December? Questions or comments? Okay, seeing none, we'll move along. Warden's report for the month of December. Go ahead, Councillor Turner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Could you tell us about your discussions with Marco McLeod on a new provincial government initiative? There's nothing there indicating what it is, so if you could fill us in, I'd appreciate it.
Oh, there's written now. Thank you for the question, and I received a call from Marco. It was a meeting by phone, really, just before Christmas, to let me know they were about to go into a partnership with Dalhousie University on what they called subterranean gas exploration, from what we know as fracking. Commonly referred to as fracking around here, but I think they wanted nicer words, so they called it subterranean something or other, and it's probably a smart move on the government's behalf to get Dalhousie University tied into it, and it makes it more believable, I guess, to people than if it's just the government announcing we're doing this and it's all safe, don't worry about it. If they get Dal to be the spokesperson, I think they're going to hold the public meetings on it and everything, so that's really what he called me about, so that we kind of knew that this was coming ahead of time. I haven't heard much reaction yet. I was expecting perhaps more reaction, and I'm sure it will come. It's just that it's using the word subterranean sort of has hit it for some people, I think.
In terms of reaction, I don't think there's a whole lot of been public reaction, but there's reaction from academia. And academia has been opposed to Dalhousie being involved in this. They think it's putting Dalhousie in a bad light, being involved with this project. So academia is kind of disturbed by Dalhousie's involvement.
And that's not surprising, I don't think. It's they're going to be well paid for the work and recover some of the money that all the universities lost money because of the student, immigrant students not coming in. So every university is looking for a way to supplement that. So that could be behind it, I don't know, but it's also, from a government point of view, I think it sells better to have Dal's professionals, weighing in rather than just their own opinions.
Okay. Councillor Wadden.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just on the next one there, Robert, the met along with the CAO with MPH Fund Fraser on current issues. Could you explain what those issues were?
That one was mostly concerning an issue in my own district with Salem, which, we paid for the water several years ago now because we couldn't get any help from the province at that time. And now we've had the provincial money for the sewer for well over a year sitting in the bank, and we weren't able to get the federal money, even though it was promised by MP Fraser that we would know by October of '24. So that's 16, 17 months ago now. And so Sean Fraser called and wanted to meet with myself and the CAO, and the news we got wasn't great. It's not a straight no, but they've now transferred the ability to make the decision on these grants to the province. The reason being that in the recent budget, they had to make cuts, and one of the cuts was not to have two levels of government hiring administrators to make decisions, let one level of government do it. So it's now, even though it's federal money, it's now up to the province to decide what projects get funded and what ones don't. And so that's basically what he was telling us, that day, is that the water sort of changed on the beans, and it would be now up to the province to decide on the federal money. And there was a pot of money that was to be decided that way anyway, and a separate pot that we were told we had a better chance under. But that pot now has all been put into one, so that the province will make that decision, I guess, when the time comes. I don't know if the CAO has anything to add to that?
No, not really. I guess the big thing was the same amount of money is there. There were the two streams. One that you applied, it was an accelerator fund that the federal government controlled, and they've now, as the warden said, transferred that billion. I think it was a $10 billion fund across Canada. They've now $1 billion off it was basically accelerator. Federal government would make decisions, get the projects out quickly. That's now combined into the other pool, so it's still a $10 billion fund. It's just it's now one pot, and as the warden said, it is provincial decisions.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you.
Okay, Robert, do you have some final comments or questions?
I just wanted to say I did an interview last week with one of the newspapers on the assessments. So the assessments will be coming out soon, and that's going to upset some people. It usually does, for sure. But the total, and I'm not just sure of this figure, Brian might have to help me, the total provincial assessments had gone over, was it the 200 billion mark? I believe. It was a big number anyway. Anything in the billions is big numbers to me. So anyway, you know, the questioning became, well, what effect does that have on our municipality? Well, really doesn't matter where the provincial number's gone to us, it's where our number is going. And Brian gave me some numbers before I did that interview, and ours is up by, I think, around 6%. We agreed that would be roughly where our assessments are. But they won't, people's assessments or taxes won't go up by that amount. Their assessment, the capped assessment, is, I think, allowed to go to 2.5 this year. 2.6. Last year it was 1.5. So the capped amount, the consumer price index or whatever, so people's assessments will go up a bit more on the cap side than they did last year. It just goes by that consumer price index. So they can go up by as much as 2.5, but no more than that. 2.6, I guess was. Whereas last year was a lesser amount. So if it wasn't for the cap, they would be going up, you know, significantly more for sure. So, but people can argue on both sides of the cap. It depends. If you just bought your property, then you've lost that cap and you're going to pay the full amount. So other people like the fact the cap is there and it keeps their assessments from getting too high. And people that have just bought property or whatever, bought new property, they don't get the advantage of that. So just wanted to make you aware that our assessments were up around 6% in total. Okay, thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, moving on, the Parle report. Go ahead, Councillor Wadden.
That was emailed out to everyone today, so they can have a
Yes.
chance to look it over, and if there's any questions, feel free to ask.
Okay,
Thank you.
if there's any questions or comments on the Parle report. Yes, go ahead, Councillor Dewar.
Thank you. It's going to work now, is it?
Yep,
Okay.
go right ahead.
So, a couple of weeks ago, I heard on the radio, and everybody else did too, so the money that was coming, that you got from the hospital, that must have helped make things a lot better, wouldn't it? Or did it? The 130,000 or,
No, that's for 3 separate projects that the library is doing. For
okay,
the
so that's not to help keep the doors open?
No, this is a project work between the health department and the library, but it's to do some projects on behalf of the health committee in the area.
I just must have took it up. Yeah, they talked about projects, but I thought it was all in the same pot.
No, no,
Anyway,
it's-
that's fine, and that's just something I wanted to
Yep, no
ask.
problem.
Thank you.
Okay. Warden Parker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I wanted to mention the fact that there was 2 retirements announced in that report. And on Saturday morning, I attended a send-off for Bonnie Allen, She was 35 years, I think, with the library, and she put in a lot of time at the old library in Pictou, which was a 1950s library, and moved suddenly into a 2024-25 library. So it was good that she got a little time at the new library to see what it was like. I think she was probably just as happy in the old one herself. But anyway, Bonnie is a former counselor around this table back a few years ago. And of course, she serves, you know, on the Valley View Villa board as chairperson there or whatever. So anyway, she served a lot of years for the library and did a good job from all I heard. So I just wanted to mention her name tonight, especially being a former counselor. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yes, she ran a great toddler time. We attended all those, so
Yep.
for quite a few years, yeah. Bonnie will be missed for sure. Okay. Okay, next we have Healthy Pictou County report. Any questions or comments on Healthy Pictou County? Okay, seeing none, tax receivable report. Bring this up. Any questions or comments on the tax receivable report? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to the deed transfer tax report. Still lots of properties changing hands within Pictou County, so number is still quite high.
Can I just?
Yes, go right ahead.
Just a quick comment. The amount collected there from the county actually exceeds the total budget for the entire region, so so everything we receive from towns and now ourselves, the budget's around 850 is what our estimate is per year, so we're about 150,000 to the good from us, and then all the towns on top of that. So
That's
it
great.
is still the values have not returned to pre-COVID,
No,
and probably never will.
yeah. Prices have increased dramatically, and,
Yeah, prices are up probably about 50% on average
yeah,
over the last 5 years. So
okay. Go ahead, Counselor Bailey.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, Brian, on that, so what is your projections as to when both of those projects will be paid off? We still looking roughly 2029 or before now?
that's a safe estimate. I would
Safe
say,
estimate.
like probably 5 years, if we continue at the rate we're going.
So
5 to 6
so that
years.
would be ahead of 7 years ahead, correct? Or six years ahead? Wasn't that 25-year debenture?
Yeah, so the wellness center debenture, the actual payment on the wellness center would be 2037, but there would be sufficient funds collected before that, I guess is the way to put it, because the debentures are locked in, so you can't pay them off early. So what gets paid off early is when the hospital will come due in, I think it's like 5 years or so. That right now we would be on track to pay that potentially off when it comes due at its 10-year mark.
So we're still locked into 2037 for payment of the wellness center.
Correct. But the money would be in essence, the money would be in the bank and just being drawn down each year.
Okay. Okay, thank you for that clarification. All right, let's move on. 8 accounts paid for the month of December 2025. Can I have a motion, please? Moved by Councillor Turner. Seconded by Councillor Palmer. I'll open the floor up to any comments or questions regarding accounts paid. Go ahead, Councillor Wadden.
There it is. Thank you. Just the charge for the picture-perfect framing for the warden's office. What picture was that for? I wish I'd taken a better look in the office the other day. Just curious.
As for a picture of some former wardens, when I saw the big office I had, I said I need to fill the walls up with something, so, and there's 2 more to come yet.
Are they included in the cost, or are they additional?
I don't know about the costing of it, I just inquired with Sue Ann as to whether we could do that, and she said, sure. They had already hung some pictures up in there, and I just wanted something to put on the walls, and I thought having the pictures of some of the former wardens would be a good idea.
No, that's no issue. I just wondered if the other costs were included with that 661, or if we're going to see a couple more bills like that for pictures. That's all.
I don't really have the answer to that part, because I only asked about if it was possible, and they said yes, and
Yep, okay, no, it'll show up in the report anyway. Thank you.
I can expand on
Yes,
that.
go
if you
ahead,
like.
Sue Ann.
The pictures will be going into the same frame. So it's not, the largest cost was framing. So this shouldn't be too bad.
Okay. Any other comments or questions on accounts paid? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Motion carried. Next, we have internet accounts paid for the month of December 2025. Can I have a motion, please?
so moved.
Moved by Deputy Warden Murray. Seconded by Councillor Turner. Any questions or comments on accounts paid for the internet for December? Go ahead, Councillor Wadden.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just, is Digital Ambiguity and Ambiguity, I think it's Capital, are they the same company, Brian? I just noticed some bills there for Digital Ambiguity, which I usually see, but I can't remember seeing Ambiguity. I think it was Capital.
The same.
They're the same? Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any further comments or questions? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Motion carried. Okay, next we have, move on here, some municipal service grants. First one is the Sutherland River and District Community Association. This is for District 1, and it's $3,000 for renovations. Okay, moved by Councillor McDonald, seconded by Warden Parker. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Motion carried. Next, we have District 10, MacPherson's Mills Community Center, $4,000 for septic system repairs.
So moved.
Okay, moved by Councillor Palmer, seconded by Councillor Turner. Any comments or questions? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Motion carried. Next, we have an extension request. So the Abercrombie Community Center is asking for an extension on their $50,000 community connectivity grant, as it has not received funding from the provincial or federal governments yet. Go ahead, Councillor Turner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is just a request because we weren't granted an accessibility grant last year because of the timing of the grants, and so we were awarded the grant from here, but the timing with the province wasn't right, so we have to put another application in. That's being worked on right now. So I'll make a motion that we grant that extension.
Can I have a seconder? Okay. It's been moved and seconded. Any further comments or questions? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Motion carried. Next, we have a Community Connectivity Event Fund. This is for Little Harbour. District 2, Little Harbour Community Center, $1,500 for District 2 Family Day. Go ahead, Councillor Wadden.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, the committee are in the process of planning the party. They're just not sure of the exact dates, so rather than hold them up waiting for the money, I thought I'd get the money requested for them so they can make their plans.
Okay.
So I'll make that a motion.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. We have a seconder.
Second.
Seconded by Councillor Bailey. Any comments or questions? All those in favor, oh, go ahead, Councillor Boyles, my apologies.
That's all right. No, I was a little late anyway. I was just wondering, now that we're into a new year, right? So now that we're into a new year, can we put in for that 1,500 now?
Our
or
fiscal year doesn't start till April 1st.
till April?
Yeah.
Okay, thank
So you have, for all counselors that haven't spent, that's a good reminder, Councillor Boyles. For all counselors that haven't spent their connectivity funds, if there's any that are left, those do not carry over into the next year. So make sure that those are spent within your community. Okay, let's call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Motion carried. Does the budget have to be approved before we?
Yes, yeah, so the funds are not allocated. They are for this fiscal year. But for next fiscal year, they're not allocated until the budget is approved.
Okay. Okay. Thank you for that, Deputy Warden. Okay, so next we have some tax write-offs. Council is asked to approve tax write-offs for the 2025-2026. Get to that. We have, for current year, we have 3 tax accounts to be written off. And then we have previous years, we also have 3 to be written off. Karen, do you want to speak to these accounts?
I think they're pretty much self-explanatory. The notes explain why we want to write them off. The 3 for the current year are a result of the new roll being put on. And these are all deactivations that are as of the new roll being put on. And the previous ones were on the roll still and deactivated on previous year rolls, but were still on the roll. And there was never any action taken on them.
Okay. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any final comments or questions? Seeing none, call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Motion carried. Okay, this brings us to our last business items, and it is grants to organizations outside of municipality county of Pictou. Councillor Peter Boyles would like to see a list of grants that are awarded to organizations outside of MOPC. All right, Councillor Boyles, I'll turn the floor over to you.
Well, yeah, as I said, vote against some of the, at other meetings, us giving money outside to, to other places like other towns or outside the municipality of the county of Pictou, and it just, to me, it makes me wonder why we're doing this when we have so many people that are in dire straits right now with their, some of them can't even pay their taxes, and the water bills and the sewer charges and every little thing that comes up they're hit with, but yet we're taking their money and giving it to another town. So this, to me, just don't seem right. It just seems like if we get that much money that we can throw to other towns, we could likely do more for our residents and try and help them in their time of need. So, I was just interested on just what we do give, what's the amount in the run of a year that we like. I was going to go back and turn around and say, okay, what do we give out in I guess since I was a councillor in 2016, but I said, no, I'll go for 1 year just to see, what's, maybe I'm wrong on it, but I don't think so. I just think that, we go after people and take their properties because they don't pay their taxes and stuff like that, which I can understand, but at the same time, I can't understand giving other towns and places money that really belongs to them too, because they were a taxpayer until they lost everything. Thank you.
Go ahead, Warden Parker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I guess I can see if we're paying for a service in Westford, Trenton, or Nebraska, whatever. If we're paying for a service that we shouldn't be paying for because it's their responsibility, but if we just go by the buildings, where the buildings are, rather than what's happening inside of the buildings, and I guess I'll use the Hector Arena as an example. That building, well, our building too, I guess, as far as that concerned, is inside the town of Pictou. So do we say that we shouldn't be paying for anything in there? We pay our share, town of Pictou pays their share. I don't know if it's based on how they do it or if it's just a figure that gets split. But would we be, if we were to say we're no longer gonna pay because that's within the town of Pictou, do we build a new rink then outside of the town of Pictou for county residents? Or the library is another good example of in the town of Pictou. So do we build a new library? We can't, I don't think, just say to our residents, well, you're not welcome at that library. We don't pay a share, so you're not welcome. Even in the case of the wellness center, which is in the county, but the citizens of the town of Westville don't pay for that, but yet we let them in. When we come to the door, you don't ask to see what, which municipality you're from. So if we're paying for a service that should be paid for by one of the towns, I fully agree with that. But if we're looking at where the building is situated, if our residents are using half of it or even a quarter or 3/4, shouldn't we be paying our share, even though it's located within, they pay their share of the wellness center, even though it's located within the county, they pay their share. But it should be based, in my mind, it should be based on usage. Who's using it, not, because it's over the line and it's inside Stellarton or whatever. That's just my opinion on that. But, I don't see a problem with getting a list and then saying, okay, on that list, is there anything that our people aren't using and therefore we shouldn't be paying into? That's just my opinion, that's all, Madam Chair.
Okay. Just 1 second, Councillor Boyles. Is there anybody, before I let Councillor Boyles speak again, is there anyone else that would like to speak before Councillor Boyles goes a second time? Okay, I'll let you finish it off, Councillor Boyles.
That to me is a pretty lame excuse, though, and I turn around and I'll tell you why I think so. Is because you got a rink in Trenton, beautiful rink, that's Pictou East people use it just as much as people Pictou West use Pictou's rink. So then if we're going to do it, and imagine in Westville, there's a lot of people from Pictou, West and East using Westville's, but I don't see you throwing money there for rinks if you want to use, for that for an example. So, in libraries, all the towns got libraries. But, we're going to make one extravagant, and the others now, New Glasgow has to have an extravagant one, and the other towns just turn around and get a little building to have theirs in. I think Westville's is part of the old school. Trenton's got the little part of the town office down there, and I don't think Sutherland got a very big one either. So, as to say, it's to me, that's sort of not a very good example, because just because we have people, as you said, on using the rink in Pictou, but what about the other rinks? What about the people in Pictou East going to the Trenton rink? Why aren't we turning around and throwing money towards Trenton and saying, okay, our people go there, bingo, here's $50,000 or whatever we give to Pictou to Trenton. Okay, Westville, you guys take in from both. Here's $50,000 to you guys to turn around and help out. We have our own rink. In one sense, we have the Ivor McDonald rink. There's where our money should be really going, because we do have a nice rink out there, and they seem to be running it great. So, to me, that's it's not a very good example. Thank you.
Okay. All right, seeing no more comments or questions, we'll move on. There's no deferred business this evening. Agreement to do what? Okay. I guess your request is to have a list of organizations that receive grants outside of the municipality. Okay, so that's what you'd like to do. Is it agreed that we look at that? Is there any agreement? Okay. You disagree? Okay. So shall we see hands then? Let's go for agreed. Agreed, please raise your hands. Okay, disagree? Okay, it's agreed. Okay, deferred business. Any deferred business? And we have no motions of reconsideration this evening. Okay, then I will call the meeting adjourned. Thank you very much, everyone.
I'd like to call the Proper Services Committee meeting to order. First, I'd like to begin by acknowledging that we're on the Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. Next is the approval of the agenda. Moved by Councillor Boyles, second by Councillor Turner. All those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Count by nay. Motion carried. Is there any emergency resolutions? Is there any emergency resolutions? Is there any emergency resolutions? Seeing none, we'll move on. Is there any errors, omissions, corrections to the minutes of December 15, 2025? Any errors, omissions, or corrections? Any errors, omissions, corrections? Seeing none, we'll consider those minutes approved. Reports not requiring a motion. First is the Director of Public Works and Development. Councillor Turner.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Regarding the Abercrombie sidewalk revitalization, the last sentence in your report on that issue says, in the meantime, this portion will be inspected and maintained with gravel surfacing and dewatering to maintain temporary usability. We had quite a thaw over the last week or so, and there's been no work for graveling or dewatering, so now there's snow again, so when can we expect some gravel to be put down there so we can use that sidewalk temporarily until the revitalization takes place? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. You can expect that this week or next to make it usable in the meantime. We'd hoped, as discussed previously, we'd hoped to get some of that work done during the mild weather, but didn't get done, so we'll look at the dewatering and graveling option.
Okay, Deputy Warden.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Item 13, Logan, is that, I don't quite understand that, but does that mean the supplementary road, the spring maintenance has been done and ready to go for tender? Is that what that means?
No, I'm sorry. Thank you for the question. What that's with regards to is that we're going to provide clarifications on our standards to provide recommendations for those standards for summer and fall road maintenance. So back a year or so ago, there were some questions on how they were being maintained, dust, different things like that. We just want to make sure that we're putting that into a more rigid framework that residents can count on. Yeah.
So if I may follow up to that, just a question on the summer maintenance. Will that be tendered out and contractors award it before, like, the end of April this year? We don't want to get in the situation we did last year in District 5?
Yes, yeah, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Counselor McKeel. Oh, sorry. Warden
Okay. Thank you.
Warden Barker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chair. But I have a separate one, but I want to follow up on what the deputy warden was talking about there. The one I hear most about, and we have a number of roads in the Sylvester area that are in my district, but is dust control. That you can almost count every year, you know, the complaints about dust control. And I understand it's hard to get people and it's expensive and a few other things, but that is the one that bothers people the most, I think, in the summertime. Yes, they want their road graded and get rid of the potholes and that stuff, but I hear more complaints on dust control. So if we get up the standard some there, so that when we give a contract to somebody, they have to understand that that has to be done, you know, before the 1st September, when you're almost getting to the other end of things. It wasn't this year, but, you know, that people want that dust control. A lot of people live on some roads that they can't hang clothes out, they can't do anything because of the dust. They gotta keep their windows shut all the time. They're just so dusty. So that, I just wanted to add to what the deputy warden, but the one I wanted to mention that's not here, I don't think it is, we received a letter back about 3 weeks ago now, maybe more, from the Alma Fire Department regarding unusable fire hydrants. And those are, you know, in a fairly important area. They're near a school, for one thing. They're right in the village there, and you know, they were quite concerned for sure. And so I sent a email into here. I forget who I sent it to. Brian probably just saying, well, who's responsible? Whose responsibility is it? These were froze up, and you know, during the car fire, I think it was at the intersection of number 4 and the Alma Highway, and you know, it's just not a good thing to have. And I know Councillor Boyles has brought this up in his area several times. So, who's responsible within your staff? Whose job is there? A defined job? Is there somebody, and how often do they inspect to make sure they're working?
Well, ultimately, it's me who's responsible for it. And our public works staff, our 4 public works staff are assigned that work. It's something that we haven't done to the extent that you'd probably like to, or should be doing it, just due to staffing challenges, just conflicts, other priorities. But I 100% agree that it's absolutely critical. So we're looking at ways that we can make sure that that gets done. Alma was one area that we did do a full flushing and exercising program with a couple of years ago, in advance of the Salem Water Project, but that's a few years ago now. So we need to look at how we can get this done just with the limited resources that we have. Yeah.
And if I could, Mr. Chair, have they been looked after now? Like if there was a fire tonight, are those ones that weren't workable, are they workable?
Every hydrant in Alma hasn't been taken care of. We have gone out and we haven't been able to pump those down. They're still frozen. So I would say that they are still an issue that we need to get resolved. Those two.
I think it's really important that we get them done, because I'd hate to see somebody lose their life because, you know, of something like that. And who can tell what's happening the next night? You know, we did have a mild spell. Maybe they didn't melt enough, or maybe we have to bring heat in to melt them. But I would like to see them looked after so that that department knows that those are usable.
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Councillor Wadden.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Back earlier, like I guess late December, 1st of January, we were getting copied on emails from a Mr. McKenzie concerning his concerns with the land use bylaw. Have those issues been resolved with Mr. McKenzie? I haven't seen any emails from him for a while, but I didn't want to get rid of them until I knew for sure that was handled.
Yeah, thank you for the question. We did get back to Mr. McKenzie. I had a phone call with him last week, and he asked for a letter to follow that up with that I provided him Friday. I since received, which he was happy with, I since received an email today from Mr. McKenzie and responded to him. We had explained that his property would need to be rezoned to allow the different usage that he's looking for. But that is something that we would look to address with our planning advisory committee and ultimately council when we make our other bylaw amendments sometime later this year. So likely summer or fall. He had responded saying that he didn't agree with those time frames, but there's really no way to make it go any faster than that. It counts as a bylaw amendment now, whether you do it as a rezoning of a single property or as an amendment to these bylaws. So he was happy at the end of last week, and then just as of this afternoon, so I've got an email that I'm drafting him to clarify that. Yep. Thank you.
Councillor Boyles.
Yeah, Logan, on the same issue there, according to Mr. McKenzie, that there's a lot of businesses that are getting commercial assessments, but if they close their commercial, they're going back to residential or something. Can you explain to me what's going on there? Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the question. You're correct that there were a number of properties that are assessed and taxed on commercial rather than residential. For whatever reason, they were missed by our consultants when we did our land use planning, and that's the reason why we're recommending them to be flopped back to some type of usage that would permit for commercial. So it's applied to the property that in question and then to at least one other one in the hillside area. Yeah.
Okay. Anything further? Seeing none, I'll just ask you a quick question, Logan. On those fire hydrants out in Alma, they froze. Why did they freeze? Was there water escaped and went into close to the surface, or what?
After hydrants are used, we have a number of self-draining hydrants, but they don't always drain depending on the type of soil that they're in. So after they're used, as a best practice, we would look for our public works staff to go out and pump those down. So hydrants in Canada can freeze. That's why they're not charged all the time, as opposed to ones that you might see down in the States. But that would be the reason that they'd been used at some point and had been filled with water.
Do you get notified that they were used in order to go out and to do that maintenance?
Most times, not every time, and it's not a huge issue, but it's something that Evan and I have talked about, and he has no responsibility over it either, but I just asked him, and he sent a note around to the different departments just asking them to please notify us if they are using it. But,
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next is the Development Officer's report. See no question. Oh, Councillor Bailey.
Well, a lot of the reports don't have the district on them. The last thing I like is when somebody comes up and says to me that, oh, I see there's a subdivision being built across from me. I get the report, but I don't know where they are, if they are in District 4, 7, 10, or whatever. But so is it possible to have, is there any reason why we can't have as to the district and the location put in the report?
Evan? Or Logan?
Sorry, yeah, no, we can include that in our reports. Yeah.
Okay. Nothing further. Streetlight report. Councillor Wadden.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just following up on 5065 Little Harbour Road, have you made any progress at all with Bell on that one, Logan?
Unfortunately not, and I actually spoke to Mr. Rose about that last week as well. We continue to wait for Bell. We've tried to push that along, but even Nova Scotia Power doesn't really have any control over them. So, but we'll keep banging at the door as best we can.
Counselor Bailey.
Thank you. It was nice to see the street light went up on Queen Street shortly after our last meeting. My question would be, is the same work had to be done for the one down the intersection light down on Cape John Road? Why wouldn't they do them both at the same time? Is there?
Unfortunately, thanks for the question. That one, we're still awaiting Nova Scotia Power approval for at this time, the Cape John Road one. So otherwise, we would look to get them done at the same time. Yeah.
Okay. Counselor McDonald.
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair. The Lismore Community Center needs a streetlight moved because they cut trees and everything down there and that stuff. Who do I go to for that?
You can reach out to me, and I'll talk to Kevin about it too.
Okay.
Thank
And
you.
another question is about the number of streetlights that District 1 received last year, or this fiscal year. Could you give me that number sometime?
We can get that number to you.
Great, thank you.
Okay, Counselor Parker.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Question for Logan there, up in Mount Tom there, that street light at Highway 4, Mount Tom intersection. Is there any progress on that, or?
Thanks for the question. Likewise, that one is also still waiting on Nova Scotia Power approval, but we do.
They gotta approve it, is this at the?
Yes, we have to have approval from Nova Scotia Power.
Okay, because it says work to be completed. Do they hook it up, I assume, once they approve it?
No, we hook it up.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
We need their approvals.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. See nobody else, we'll move on. The Emergency Services report. Counselor McDonald.
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair. Evan, would you know, could we have a report of the yearly facts of each fire departments and that stuff, calls and that stuff, volumes?
Yeah, that won't be an issue. Yeah, no problem at all. I think I missed it this year, but I did do one last year, so I'll get that to you for sure.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay. See nobody else. Fire inspection report. No questions. Building officials report. And the last one, the bylaw officers report. Okay, seeing none. Well, we're pretty well through. No business items that require action, and there's no deferred business. Any motions of reconsideration? Seeing none. Community announcements. Is there any community announcements? Councillor Bailey?
Thank you. Just want to express congratulations to the Craig family for their appearance on Family Feud, where they won the first night. They were successful enough in winning the $10,000, and they it looked like they had a great time, and they mentioned especially Seafoam a lot of times in their whether we're on the two shows, but it was a great showing for Pictou County. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councillor McDonald?
Yes, on Sunday, the 25th, the mineral research webinar is going to be 1 to 3. It's put on through the Nova Scotia Woodlands people. Just get a hold of me for the web address to log in. And the same day, the Wintertime Fun Day at the Kensieville Community Center, 3 to 6. And I'd be get in trouble if I didn't remind everybody that the Wintertime Reviews tickets are go on sale February 21st, around 9 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Dorr?
have a meeting on Thursday night, January 22nd at 6:30 at the Eureka Fire Hall. It's going to interfere with the meeting here. I won't be able to be here, but it's to do with the Marshdale generating plant. So if anybody's got any ideas or thoughts about that, they're certainly welcome to come. I haven't heard much about it just lately because of the vacations, I guess. But anyway, that meeting is at January 22nd at 6:30 at the Eureka Fire Hall. Thank you.
Counselor McKeel. Oh, geez.
He hasn't looked this way. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just to follow up with what Councillor Dewar said, that same type of meeting is being held at the West River Fire Hall on January the 27th. And these are meetings of the, basically the community advisory, may not be the right word, but the community board. I understand they have good numbers. The last I heard from Marsdale was 12, I think, people interested in being on that community advisory board. And I think they had 8 or 9 in the Salt Springs one, so that's, that's good. I've been encouraging people, if they got concerned, well, get on that committee and speak up and, be heard. So it'll be interesting to see what comes out. The environmental assessments are ongoing. I think that date was February 9th, was it, the final date? And so that information is here. It's online too, but it's here in our building for anybody wanting to look at the environmental assessment information on those. And I think some of the exploratory wells have been, well, in Marsdale, I know they tried. I don't think they tried any in Salt Springs yet, or not to my knowledge anyway, but that is ongoing, and it's a contentious issue, no different than fracking and some other things will be, but it's not really our issue. We're sort of on the sidelines, to it, but we're there to represent people at the same time. So anyway, I just wanted to add that information to what Chester had to say.
Okay, thank you, Darla.
You're welcome.
Okay, if there's no more, I have one. The Thorburn Rink, Ivor McDonald Memorial Arena is again applying for Hockeyville. So it's a little different this year. Each province gets a winner, and the winner will receive $50,000, and then top 2 in the nation will go up against each other for a total prize of $250,000, I think, $250,000. So anyway, just if you see it advertised or anything like that, if you could post a little story or something like that, because that's how you get points and things like that. So there'll be more on the our website and Facebook page. So thank you. Okay, can I have a motion to go in camera to talk about the fire study? Moved by Councillor Boyles and seconded by by the warden. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Count by nay. Motion carried.